Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Martin Drive Show. Welcome back to our continued coverage of the Russia and Ukraine crisis. As we know, over the past couple of days, Vladimir Putin has threatened all countries who have been indirectly aiding the Ukrainian army. And this breaking news seems like the U.S. does not care about his threats any longer. So this is going to be a video of the U.S. training Ukrainians on how to use new military weapons, and this could be a large issue in the grand scheme of what could end up being World War III, or maybe not something that big, but still a large-scaled war between multiple countries.
Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky said today that his country still does not have enough weapons to resist the invasion. The United States is hoping to answer the call by rushing a major new shipment of artillery and ammunition. CBS's David Martin takes a look at the weapons that are just arriving today.
As Russia continued to pound Ukrainian positions, the U.S. flew into Europe the first of 18 howitzers bound for Ukraine. At the White House, President Biden met with his top military commanders to discuss, among other things, U.S. military aid to Ukraine.
Weapons and ammunition are flowing in daily.
Ukrainian soldiers have begun learning how to use the howitzers, which takes a...
Okay, so it's important off the beginning of that is he held a public meeting with all of our top military officials, Joe Biden, saying, I know these are just little clips, what we are going to do to aid the Ukrainians. And why that is so important is because by him now aiding the Ukrainians and making that public statement, his political objective is to clearly defy Vladimir Putin and clearly to step further into this war. And the dangers in that are obvious. I don't need to outline them. But by Joe Biden having that exact press conference, that is the political stance that he has taken for all of America.
A week they may not have before the Russian offensive hits full throttle.
Time is not our friend, and the clock is a bit of an enemy here, too.
Even if they arrive...
That was redundant.
In time, 18 howitzers are only a fraction of what the Ukrainians need. Although later this week, President Biden is expected to order a dramatic increase in artillery for Ukraine.
I think there's a slowly emerging awareness that they have to do more to ensure Ukrainian success.
Retired Army General Michael Repass says,
so by him saying that they have to do more to ensure Ukrainian success, that's kind of the trade-off. Are we going to continue to support Ukraine in our fullest, which it seems like we will, despite the fact that it could draw us into a drastic war with Russia? The answer seems to be yes.
As artillery could blunt the Russian offensive.
The artillery that we're giving them is a method to counter that artillery fire that the Russians are pouring onto the Ukrainian troops and also onto the civilian communities.
The Russian plan calls for sending some 90,000 troops to encircle the Ukrainian army in the east. Artillery plus real-time battlefield intelligence provided by the U.S.
So not only are we providing all that artillery, we have the best intelligence system in the world. Our military is everywhere. We obviously have multiple satellites. We have the best intelligence system in the world. And maybe there's a few that are close, but the amount of military bases spread out around the world that America has is so many more than any other country. It's not even funny. So by them giving them the intelligence and the modern weaponry, it's going to essentially drag us into the war against Russia, is essentially what seems to be happening, in my opinion.
Could give the Ukrainians a fighting chance.
Battlefield math holds that the offense needs a 3-to-1 advantage over the defense in order to break through. Right now, the Russians do not have a 3-to-1 advantage in eastern Ukraine. Nora?
We got to remember, man, it's hard to just... War is not as easy as numbers. We have stories and we have evidence of, very few beating large numbers due to, like the Revolutionary War, even right now with the Ukrainians. And I can't think of the other drastic examples, but you hear of, 1,000 men beating 10,000 men, just for example, because there's a certain level of training, a certain level of, survival instinct that these soldiers have that just outweigh the others. There's a reason why, a lot of times one American soldier could equal 5 to 10 of another country's soldiers because of how precise and well trained our military is. So the bigger news to me is still the fact that we are providing as much aid as we are providing despite the warnings, which just means we will go to war with Russia, it seems like. That's the warnings that Putin's given out, and unless he's not going to follow through, then that's the path we're headed down. So that's really all I got to say.